Look at this book. This book right here, literary devices everywhere. There's so many literary devices in this book. Look at this. Catcher in that rye. Catcher in the rye, right here. Look at that. So you know the main character here? His name's Holden, right? This man's crazy. He's in a mental institute. But you know what? The coolest part about this book is that it's a frame narrative. You know what frame narrative means? It means that the story is framed within two parts, and those two parts are in the mental hospital, which he is narrating. So by the frame narrative, it creates an unreliable narrator. Okay, and so with an unreliable narrator, he can write however he wants. So he's a personable, informal writing, and this is super important because it creates the entire character of the book, which characterizes my guy Holden. Personal informal writing. Personal informal writing, he can write however he wants, which can add into things like hyperbole. You know what hyperbole is? It's when you talk a lot and you say stuff that isn't entirely true and you over-exaggerate things. Like when Holden, he goes and he's like, dude, I almost broke my neck on about 10 million garbage pails. Garbage pail, dude, how do you break your neck on garbage pail? How do you have 10 million garbage pails? Look at that. Look, I drew a garbage pail right here. That's like the kind he was talking about. You know what that is? Whole lot of garbage pails. It's just the truth. Personal informal writing. You know what else can come from that? Syntax. Syntax is just the rhythm of the writing. He just writes the way somebody talks. Like right now, you just add in all the likes and everything of the like. You got something like a colloquialism. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's what it is. There's words and stuff that aren't good, right, proper. That's him. It's his thought process. You get inside his head, and from that, we relate to him. You know what that is? Relatability. Subjective. To have connection. Grounded. Accessible. Related. You know what else is relatable? Universal experiences. Not Universal Studios. Not everyone's been there. You know what else? Everyone has those. You know what's so great about that? Because everyone can relate to that. That's why he's so relatable. And you know what else is everybody has? A past. Therefore, they were at one time innocent. And that's a main theme of this book, which is why that's connected to this. The state's quality or fact of being innocent, that's just something that everybody's been doing. The main link to innocence in this novel is his sister Phoebe. It's the main tie-in to the fact of nostalgia in this book. And that ties into idealism. Holden's main fact of explaining the stories is through idealism. Look at this. His brother, Allie, he was dead. But he's like, I really like him still. You know what that is? Idealism. Because he likes to think anything, no matter the way, how it is. For real. Which that also ties into the fact that he tells anecdotes as the story is going on. Anecdotes. Remember the time that he was talking about, he saw nuns and stuff? And that's like an anecdote because you get inside his head, so what he's thinking about. Really cool. But then, when he goes back to his house, he talks about a desk for a solid, however long this is. I don't know. But that is the matter of the fact of repetition. He likes to just talk and talk and talk, Repetition is the most repeated thing in this book because he practically expresses repetition all the time. Repetition is just repetition because it goes on and repeats itself until you have so much repetition that you hear repetition one more time, you'll just repetition yourself, Isn't it just ironic that while we're out here critiquing his repetition, the fact that this story uses so much irony, the expressions of one meaning by using language that normally signifies the opposite, typically for humorous or empathetic effect, it's super ironic because the fact of the matter is, it is ironic that he's out here complaining about phoniness. Dude, mate, you're the phoniest person around here, He's out here you lie to somebody, they'll do whatever they want. Dude, you're the phoniest guy out here. This guy, he's a hypocrite. The theme of the book, the guy's down here, he's complaining about people being phony. And he's out here look, guys, let me tell you, person to person, in my head, just be fake and they'll do whatever you want. That's just, where does this doesn't line up. But that's just a cool thing about it because the fact that it's a frame narrative allows you to have an unreliable narrator, which allows irony, which allows for these oxymoronic statements just like this one. This book, look at this. The fact that it's a frame narrative, isn't that crazy? Because the frame narrative hides allegories. Allegories, like up here, he's talking about a doctor. He deserves to go to jail because a doctor isn't supposed to take things away from him. The entire story's main theme, the fact of saving innocence, this contradicts that, that's irony. You know what we just talked about? Irony. You know what that is? Repetition. This is the quote that he's like, I want to catch people. Which, even though that's your main theme, he's down here contradicting it again. He's like, you should let people do whatever they want. And I think it's nice when someone gets excited and they want to do something. But that's ironic because up here, he's like, I want to save people from doing bad things. But if they're excited about it, why would you want to do this? This doesn't make sense. So, remember, the fact that he's using irony in statements and uses personable, informal writing helps to establish the theme of the book because he's out here contradicting himself. But that pushes the thought in your mind. Wait, this guy, he's out here in a mental one of those places, you know? This guy, Holden, insert last name. He's just a great protagonist because you get up in his head through his unreliable narration and literary devices that are used to propel this story forward and to help the audience relate to the character. And I just gotta say, in conclusion, Catcher in That Rye, this very book right here is good. Real good.